412-825-6262. I'll listen for that knock on the door, and we'll let you in the store immediately if I'm here and you arrive. Today, as promised, I'm gonna pick up some newly trodden ground. There's a blood test out there, folks. You've heard about it this week. Big to do about this blood test. It involves cancer. I'm going to bring a dose of reality to you that I think, as my listeners, we never hold back. We bring you the straight and skinny on everything, and that's the way I want to keep it. But I think maybe you got to watch what you wish for, because I think this test is going to change an entire industry. Anyway, I'm going to let you know how I look at it, and maybe you can start to look at it that way too. If you don't think I'm looking at it right, hey, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you just on that matter alone. 412-825-6262. New cancer protocols are around the corner. I guess the byline of this show is, be careful what you wish for. Okay, looking at my schedule here for the remainder of the month of January, we are off to the races, are we not? That doctor we had on Wednesday, I just enjoy having her on the show. She obviously practiced what she preaches. I'm talking about Dr. Susan Smith Jones, who was nice enough to come aboard with us on Wednesday with, she had her 8 stress busters. I wrote them all down. I have them in order. And I'll cherish them. I think what I learned, though, we went to her website, which is www.susansmithjones.com. I'd advise any of you to go ahead and do that. Just move on out to that website at your leisure. And then on the opening page, there's like a screen that just keeps on scanning all of her books. And I got to watching this screen move, and another book would come up with a new title and another one. And, I mean, after a minute or two, I'm going, hey, how many books has she written? Well, we got a number. She's written 26 books. She said she had a passion for writing. She certainly does. And by the way, she's coming back. Won't be till February. We call it, because she asked for it, our Valentine's Day show, coming up on February 9th. Natural ways to increase libido. How appropriate for Valentine's Day would that be? Okay, so Monday. This is for ladies. I'm putting on an APB for all you ladies. Special for you Monday. Ladies special. Rena Revivo is going to come back. Now, Rena was on our show a number of months ago. She is she's an entrepreneur. She's in the beauty industry. She is a drop-dead gorgeous woman herself. I've seen her on her website, and that's not made up, folks. Anyway, she has beauty tips for you ladies. She entitles this show Makeover Without Makeup. I don't know what that means. Make over, make under. I'll let her make some sense of it. I have to admit, I'm going to have to claim complete ignorance on this topic. But ladies, you I guess know what I mean. She's going to be with us on Monday. Rena Revivo, you'll want to be here with her to find out how you make over without makeup. Is that possible? Only you'll find out. On Wednesday, Stuart Reeves is coming back with us. Of course, he is a representative of Epicor, the company Epicor, a derivative of another company called Diamond V. We know Epicor very well here. We were the first to launch it a number of years ago. Most of our colleagues, medical colleagues in the area, picked up on it. I'm happy to see that they did. It's now a product known by literally everybody. We, meaning myself and Arlene Brecker, were really happy to be able to bring it to you. And the success of this product in prevention of infections, and especially in the cold and flu season when we normally would do a number of shows back-to-back on it, I think is now incontrovertible. It works. Going to be talking about immune system and a new term. Well, it's an old term, but I need to put it in a new light, and that is immunomodulation as opposed to immune boosting. We got to be careful about what we do. And I think immune boosting has now run its course as being a plus in the realm of how to alter your immune system. Then following week, Roland Thomas is going to be here. Roland is going to be talking about bioengineered algae, which he claims is going to become our most powerful food and medicine. Anxious to hear that. Darren Starkey, going to be with us on the 19th. Spoke to him on the phone just the other day. Kind of get this order into Trace Mineral Research. We launch our relationship with Trace Mineral Research on the 19th. You've heard the company mentioned here many times. A lot of callers have brought it up about how effective this particular line of trace minerals are. I've always admired and have espoused the use of them, but we really haven't put the full force and reputation behind what we do here, behind any particular product line, and I think this is a great product line with which to do it. Trace Mineral Research, Darren Starkey, going to be with us on the 19th. Then as we turn to, right now, then turning to the month of February, I think we got 2 slotted here. You already know about Dr. Susan Smith-Jones coming on the 9th, and then Doug Inglesby is going to be with us, going to pick that date on the 16th, talking about the pharmaceutical industry's foray into the supplement world. Anyway, more about that as time moves on. Okay, let's just do this. Why don't we take a short break? Of course, this is a Friday, get 'em up out of town version of the show. We got snowing going on out there, folks. Careful moving around. There are some slippery surfaces. Things are going to get slippery around here, talking about watch out, what you wish for. You'll see what I mean in a moment. That new cancer test, I believe, is going to change a lot of things in the up and coming future. Be right back with you. See you in a moment.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith, but Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Right here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you on this Friday version of the show. It is a Friday version. Get 'em up, out of town version, as we like to say, and always allowing you to come on in when you have a mind to set the agenda around here. The number to do that is 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'm waiting here and knock on the door, and when I do, I will let you come on in the store. I want to spend a moment here. I alluded to this on Wednesday, The fervor on the internet and the blogosphere has not diminished one iota. This one hit on Monday, this particular medical research item, and it just has led to countless numbers of people commenting on it. This, of course, what I'm referring to is the new cancer blood test. You had to have heard about it. All forms of media, if you just watch television at all, any news program it could not have passed a week without at least bringing it up at least one time. And of course, as you go through the blogosphere, well, you find a hit after another hit after another hit, commenting on a new blood test, not available yet, but boy, it is causing quite a stir out there because, as it turns out, this is a super sensitive blood test. The claim is that it can spot one single cancer cell among billions of healthy cells. That is an amazing feat. The technical side of this is something we don't have to really delve into, but essentially what it is a person's blood is exposed to a plate that is composed of thousands of bristles, sort of like a hairbrush. And that plate has a chemical substance on it that literally attracts a cancer cell. And in so doing, it's a chip. Actually, it's not a plate at all. It's a microchip. And because of the way it's programmed and how sensitive it is, it can detect. The claim is that it can detect one cancer cell out of billions. Well, we don't have to get any more into the wizardry of how it comes about. It's going into testing. This was originally attempted and tried in the Boston hospital community, especially Harvard. But they're teaming up those hospitals, that is, with Johnson & Johnson. And so now we're off to the testing phase. You'll be hearing more about this in the up-and-coming future. And I believe what we're setting ourselves up for is something that you all have to get prepared for. I believe maybe in a little different way than you may already be thinking. In order to be able to do this, we've got to sort of explain where we are right now. I oftentimes do this, and maybe it's been a while since I took a look at it in the way I'm going to do today, but I will, as I always try to do at least, educate you to the point where you can understand the rationale behind how our cancer therapies work in the conventional realm and how they may be about to change. Anyway, I've seen accolades come across my desk through the blogosphere, really hailing this is a wonderful discovery. I absolutely think it is a wonderful discovery. Doctors are saying that we can now use this new blood test when it's available to predict what treatments would be best for what cancers. Okay, I can understand that. I had one doctor, his name is no less than the chief of the Mass General Cancer Center. His name is Dr. Daniel Haber, and what does he say? He says with glee, it's like a liquid biopsy. Well, I guess that'd be right. He's got the pom-poms out and the saddle sheaths. He is excited. It's a brand new cancer screening tool, others say. No more mammograms, some are shouting. No more biopsies. Can be ordered by your local doctor, your PCP. One thing after another, talking about the hallmarking of what this would do with respect to bringing some real change to the conventional cancer treatment protocols that are out there now. Now, if and when this blood test makes it to the scene, I believe there's going to be a sea change out there, and I'm going to just take a little bit of time to describe to you what the current seascape is and how I believe it's going to change and what I think this type of blood testing will ultimately lead to. And in order to appreciate this pulling back of the curtain, which is exactly what I'm doing, exposing the emperor for having no clothes on once again, I'm going to bring up two components that I know I've mentioned before. One very frequently, maybe another one not so. But the first one, don't forget, is the 1 millimeter rule. And that's a famous rule now. I often say that it's the Courtney 1 millimeter rule. I've never seen it written down on a piece of paper or in a book or anywhere. Yet every time I'm around my colleagues, my medical colleagues, medical doctor colleagues, and I mention, you know what, let me run this by you. You tell me what you think. After I run it by them, they go, you know what, okay, that's, for the most part, that's right on. And so, as you would have already known, if you're a frequent listener here, the Courtney 1 millimeter rule goes something like this, that any time a malignancy has attained the size of 1 millimeter, why, that tumor is already metastatic. That tumor is already off to the races, and we don't know where it is that the tumor has gone, but it's gone someplace. And that's a pretty small, it's about the head of a pin, ladies and gentlemen. That's a pretty small size of a tumor. There is, at the present time, no tool in medicine, conventional medicine at all, that can detect a tumor of 1 millimeter. The size that most of the sophisticated interventions can predict success is usually at about a centimeter in size before something like, well, let's say CT scan, let's say for sure PET scan. These are a mammogram, by the way, also held to that size. These are the much larger sizes. By the time they're detectable by these tools, they are already metastatic. They already are off to the races. So that's the first part of how we have to set the stage. Here's the second, and it has been a while before I've commented on the second component, but now is the time to bring it up again. You know, I'm oftentimes here with patients. They're undergoing a terrible crusade with cancer, and they more than likely, 80% of the time at least, have already been either in the conventional model or they're currently involving themselves and their families with an introduction to the medical model. And so there usually is an oncologist in their life. There is potentially a surgeon in their life. And I oftentimes ask, okay, at this stage of the game, has surgery been recommended? And I'm listening with bated breath to their response, because their response really tells me a lot about the status of their cancer, and they don't appear to be aware of it. Because when I get a response such as this, like a patient would say, well, at this time the surgeon doesn't recommend a surgery. That one sort of sends a little chill in my back, because I'm going, wait a minute, what do you mean doesn't recommend a surgery? Well, no, he just doesn't think a surgery should be done at this time. And so what I have to reveal to the patient, and I do, I take the time to make certain that they understand what a response like that means, is that the surgeon is called upon to do surgical excision of a tumor as long as he has taken an earnest attempt to detect if there is any other way that you can learn that tumor exists elsewhere in the body. They have to have studies to prove that the tumor doesn't exist anywhere else other than where it's been detected as a primary site. And if they can do that, then they are allowed to do the surgery. Not as though, geez, they're going to do you a favor. Whether they did or didn't do the surgery, they're held to a very strict set of rules. They're only allowed to perform a surgery if, in fact, after exhaustive study, they can't find any other source, any other site where a tumor may be growing, and so that this surgery could be considered curative in nature, allows the surgery to go forth. When a surgeon is consulted and does his workup and does not have a recommendation of surgery, it is because not that he's a nice man, not that he's looking out for your best interest. It's because if he hasn't recommended surgery, he's not allowed to recommend a surgery. He's not permitted because evidently in that workup there has been a metastatic site detected. And if there has been, surgeries are not permitted. I should say there's a proviso here that surgeries are permitted in some cases. There are some exceptions. The exceptions would be anywhere along a path where there could be an obstruction that occurs. For instance, what if there was a tumor in the GI system? If it was in the bowel? Well, hey, the surgery is going to have to be done to remove that lesion, even if there's a source of metastatic spread, because potentially there could be, if that tumor grows, a full-blown obstruction which would create a surgical emergency that needs to be avoided. Same thing would occur with tumors in the neck and things like that, where there would be an impingement on the breathing and swallowing process. Those surgeries will go forth even in the face of a known metastatic spread, simply because they're attempting to avoid a much more precarious situation that will develop, most assuredly, in the future. So except for those exceptions, moving in the other zip codes of the body, the issue of whether you do a surgery or not doesn't come down to anything more than with the rules. The rules. The rules are what the rules are. Well, those rules are really going to be threatened now. This new blood test is interesting, okay, to say the least. I will also say that surgeons are enjoying, how do I put this, and I do it delicately, surgeons are enjoying the ability to perform surgeries and to be paid for those surgeries based on the crudeness at this point of our medical interventions. What I mean by that is, because there's really nothing out there that can detect the surgery before tumors grow to the size of 1 centimeter, they're in this zone where, hey, I can't find evidence of a tumor anywhere, so I get to go ahead. Well, if this blood test happens to go to its ultimate positive testing and gets released and is used by the general medical population, things are going to have to change. Because if that blood test is done and 1 cell is detected, just 1, it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is already metastatic. 1 cell is proof that is already metastatic, because if there would be no metastasis, the cell would be bound up with the original mother lobe, wherever, let's say breast cancer originating in the breast. All this clustering of cells in the breast going undetected for so long until finally, some study can reveal it, or the famous breast cancer examination reveals it. However, all the clustering means that the cells are confined to the mother lobe, confined to the initial lesion in the breast. But if you find a cell, 1 cell, in the blood, what you have just proven, and you proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that this is now a metastatic cancer. Because 1 cell, 100 cells, or 1,000 cells does indicate and does prove that this is metastatic. And guess what? The current rules don't allow for any surgeries to be done in the realm of a metastatically known cancer. And so things will change, folks. Got to watch for what you wish for. I've got more to say on this matter when I return. Talk about that in a minute. jostled that around a bit. What do you think about this new blood test? I think it's a wonderful test. I just say you got to think it over too, because the way things aren't the way things are going to remain when this blood test becomes available. An awful lot will change. We'll talk more about that when we return. Let's take a short break. Be back in a moment. Listening for your response to this as well as on any other thing. 412-825-6262. What do you think? Greatest thing to happen, or scary to undergo some changes in the near future? Let me know. Be right back.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to AM Impact on Your Health here on KHB 620 on a Friday morning, +3 Friday morning. A lot of snow flying out there. Pretty cold, too. Be careful out there on the roads, ladies and gentlemen. It's warm in here, and we always want to invite you to warm it up even more. To get a mind to, give us a call at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Talking this morning about the new cancer blood test. It is phenomenal what this thing will and can be able to do. I see some real changes coming up. Sharing a lot of that with you right now. What do you think about that test? Would you have one? If you could have one done right now, would you have it? Before you say yes, maybe you want to listen to a little more of what I have to offer in the way I think things are going to have to change. And that's what we're sort of taking some time to discuss here today. We can continue on this topic. You may change it if you like. Once again, 412-825-6262. Now, in keeping with this blood test discussion, a couple things hit my mind, and one of them that I hadn't really thought of before that now I am thinking of, and that is as frequently as I do see cancer patients in my office who are in the throes of going through the agony of dealing with the cancer, battling with the conventional treatments they're being exposed to. I have been amazed at what I can tell you is happening over and over again, and that is patients show up in my office, they have a diagnosis of cancer, there's a tissue diagnosis already made, so we know what the cancer type is, and yet no PET scan has been done. Now, they haven't really stopped to think about this, and but I'm thinking about it now because this issue of proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that there's a lesion someplace else becomes, I believe, an economic issue. I say, hey, would it be true that if you just were prevented from knowing that there is a metastatic spread to somewhere, and if you made your life and your money off of the unknown, I mean, if it could be kept unknown, would you want to be able to know for sure? For instance, if you're a surgeon, here I am with the surgeon. If you're a surgeon, are you looking to get the PET scan? I've often said, well, the surgeon's not interested in the PET scan because it doesn't help them. Because the PET scan is just that. It's a scan. And if you've ever seen one, there really is no clear detail. There's sort of a lighting up like a Christmas tree in the middle of this piece of cellulose. Nonetheless, you can't detect very good anatomy from that. No. You require what I believe is the surgical standard for detecting tumors, and that's something called a CT scan. And because a surgeon is ultimately the person to consider removing that tumor, they do need the best possible depiction of the anatomy of the tumor itself and the surrounding area. Yet, with this new blood test that's becoming prominent, I have re-asked the question, why is it that so many times I'm not getting a PET scan done? And so I was thinking about that. How can it be? You've got a tissue diagnosis, you got a surgeon out there sort of insisting that you have a surgery. Many of my patients, by the way, they balk right at that point. They're not really interested in getting a surgery, which sometimes makes me become apoplectic, but that's their call. Yet, how can it be that we have no PET scan and we have to end up ordering it? And so, could it be that the reason that we might not have a PET scan is because if we're to order one, if the medical community ordered it, and they certainly are aware of it now, every hospital has PET scanners located within their facility, or at a minimum, have a PET scanner that pulls up on a skid on the back of a trailer and pulls right up and connects to the hospital at least once a week. But if you're to get a PET scan, then you would know beyond a shadow of a doubt whether there's a metastatic spread, at least even held to the sizes of 1 centimeter or thereabouts. And if you knew that there was a metastatic spread, the rules actually would not permit a surgery at all, because the rules say once the surgery is not curative, the surgery can and should not be done, except for those few exceptions that I mentioned a moment ago. So why is it then that I'm not getting the PET scan? Well, keeping it in the bag, keeping it with a shroud on it, has its advantages to some, does it not? And so we'll order that PET scan. We do want to know whether or not there's metastatic spread. And I believe that the way the rules are, they are not compared. Here's the rule. How about this one? As I know it to exist at the current time, it is not mandatory that anyone get a PET scan. And until it is, this issue of why I can see patients who have a diagnosis of cancer and yet don't have a PET scan done, which would, at least with the current standards, show if there was a metastatic spread or not, won't necessarily have to get done because the rules don't allow it to be so. So that's the first thing that hits my mind. Number two, I'm going to make a bet. After thinking as I have about why PET scans aren't done, and knowing there's this really potent blood test coming around the corner, I don't know how long, folks. It's not going to be next week. If and when it comes, it's not going to be even next month. But I don't believe you're going to be able to keep this one under wraps. Too much discuss, too much fervor. There's too much enthusiasm out there. But I'm going to make a prediction. And I'm going to predict that the surgical community, surgeons, I'm not getting down on surgeons. I have a lot of surgeon friends, but I tell you what, this is going to be a tough one for them. I say, and I predict that the surgeons will fight either to prevent, limit, or discredit this test. I'm going to be looking for them to accentuate the false positives in the way they've never done before. I think their economic life is on the line. I believe if you can have a test that shows where one cell is broken away from the pack, from the mother load, which would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's already metastatic spread, then there truly is an economic incentive for a group of physicians to not wish for this test ever come to fruition. So that's my point number 2. That's my prediction. Let's see, whenever this blood test is being considered to be released, how much fervor is being generated by the medical community in order to posh and poo-poo the greatness of that exam. Number 3, the kabuki dance is going to change. I've talked about the kabuki dance an awful lot. The kabuki dance that I described is one, unfortunately, that plays itself out over and over again throughout the country. It's doing so right now today. The kabuki dance goes something like this. And I find that the example of breast cancer is probably the best way to explain the kabuki dance. A woman, here's the way it normally goes, folks. A woman detects a lump, even though, by the way, that the previous mammogram a year ago did not reveal a doggone thing going on. So in the course of her year, post-mammogram, she detects a lump. She then goes to her gynecologist, and the dance continues. The gynecologist correctly says, all right, we should get a mammogram. And in fact, that gets done. It's the second part of the dance. When the mammogram comes back showing a suspicious lesion, the gynecologist recommends that the patient get a biopsy, and here comes the surgeon along to do just that. Biopsy utilizes and usually leads to a concomitant lumpectomy at the time of the biopsy, so as not to require second anesthetic and the like. And so the biopsy gets done, the lumpectomy gets done. The surgeon visits with both the patient and the patient's family. Afterwards, the dance continues. The rest of the dance goes something like this. The surgeon says, you know what, ma'am and sir, went in there this morning, we did that lumpectomy, and we got it all. We got all that thing. And so you need to rest your mind, and they do. Their minds are made and put to rest rather easily at that point. And then he says, got it all. However, on Monday morning, because this is now Friday, on Monday morning, your chemotherapy will begin. And the dance now continues. The family is completely perplexed, wondering, hey, I thought he got it all. And in fact, I believe, and let's just say for argument's sake, he did get it all. What he got all of was the lesion, the mother load, found in the breast that was detected by the woman who had a negative mammogram in the preceding year, who now this year finds a lump and then gets a mammogram to confirm what she found and she already knew, which now a surgeon has removed, and the biopsy has proven that yes, it is a malignancy, and that he has removed in toto. And yet, chemotherapy will begin on Monday morning. And of course, the reason, and usually at that point, by the way, families just, they get real quiet. Their apoplexy is curtailed. I don't know who's doing it for whose benefit, but at that point, you think there should be an eruption. What do you mean you got it all? But chemotherapy begins on Monday morning. And the reason is, of course, that the surgeon already knew that they, never having read the Courtney 1 millimeter rule, but the surgeon knows that there already is metastatic spread. Because the size of this lesion is at least, and usually the sizes change, a centimeter, 2 or 3 or whatever, well outside the bounds of a millimeter, and consequently it is already known that there is a metastatic spread, and at the present time there is no. I say at the present time, and I underline that because it looks like that may be about to change, but at the present time there is no tool in conventional medicine whatsoever that can detect that additional metastatic spread. And that's why there will be chemotherapy in the morning, and that's why the kabuki dance has continued and will continue until something changes it. It could very well be this test. All right, let's do this. Another short break. I'm up on my high horse, folks. I got one more yell, one more scream to yell from the top of this hobby horse. I'll do so when we return. Oh, wait, what do you think out there? 412-825-6262. About the blood test or some other thing, it's anything on your mind is okay with me. Be back in a moment.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Through the Spirit. The blessings of Through the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith, but Through the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Through the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Through the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on this Friday morning version, get 'em up out of town version of the show. As we normally like to allow you to come on in and set the agenda. Whatever on your mind is okay. Whatever is on your mind is okay with me. 412-825-6262. We'll get you on in here and see what you'd like to contribute. I do hear a knock on the door. Why don't you come on this door? Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
Hi. I had seen something in the news yesterday. I was just watching the local news, and on the bottom, they, headlined the national news.
Yes.
And I don't exactly remember how it was worded, but it said the FDA or whoever the powers that be, maybe the dental association had said that they had made a public statement that silver amalgams have nothing to do with autism.
Okay. Probably as a statement, I almost, if you think about this, would have to agree, at least with respect to the child himself, that they probably have not a thing to do with the autism in that child with respect to this. These children who get diagnosed with autism, they're 2 and 3 years old, or they're 4 years old. They don't even have dental work.
I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing. I guess it's too early for me today.
Ah, all right.
I'm sorry, it was the inoculations. I'm sorry.
Oh, the vaccines.
They didn't specify on that headliner, at the bottom of the screen, which inoculations. I'm sorry, I must be having a senior moment.
Hey, and for you to do that, yeah, it was a senior moment.
It said that the inoculations, I guess, that contain mercury have nothing to do with childhood autism. And my thinking is maybe they are very concerned about this and they are just blatantly denying it altogether. I mean, they must be very worried because it's coming out more into mainstream news, because of the cases with the children, allowing their story to come to light in the mainstream news. That I guess they're actually worried that this, is going to go real mainstream. Is that one of the reasons?
Well, I got to say, we've had a flurry in the last 3 days. I was going to mention anyway, and this is absolutely on point to what you're talking about. There has been a flurry of information coming out of England about Andrew Wakefield and his study. Have you seen or heard any of that stuff yourself?
I remember a few years ago hearing about it, but...
Well, Andrew Wakefield, by the way, he has been to Pittsburgh. I never really met him personally. So many people around here have. His work in 1998 led to some conclusions with respect to MMR vaccine and autism. And what has happened is this week there was an article published in England where they literally called him a fraud. They've claimed that they've proven beyond a shadow of doubt that his work was fraudulent, that he had a financial incentive, and this flies in the face of the, like I say, I don't know him personally, but because of the people that I do know that do know him personally, we all find this very difficult to swallow this week, and it could very well be, and I say this guardedly, because there's more information to come, and I saw an interview with Andrew Wakefield on Skype the other night on this Anderson 360 show. It was night, but it was an extensive interview, and they just got assailed by Anderson Cooper about this new article that called him the fraud that they're now trying to claim that he has been, and that has taken all these years, and they finally have proof that his work was fraudulent. Well, when you mentioned...
Yeah, I have it right here. Dr. Andrew Wakefield on the autism vaccine controversy and his ongoing professional persecution. And this was a press release from Sunday, May 30th.
Right. Now, because of all this stuff circulating around Andrew Wakefield, the issue of... I see blurbs about autism literally on all news shows a day, so I can understand why you'll find, the conventional medical community is taking the opportunity now to assail all comers. The issue of mercury in vaccines, you know what? It's probably true, because I once said in the day that they were going to remove mercury from vaccines, and I think in 2002, they did just that. Or at least they have a high number of the vaccines they make that are mercury-free. And I said at the time that they made that change, that, we're going to learn in the next few years whether or not mercury is playing a role in these disorders, and autism particularly, because with the coming out of the mercury-free forms, there should be a drop in the number of cases of autism around the corner. Well, that was 2002. This is 2010. We're way around that corner, and guess what? The drop has not occurred.
Yeah, did you hear for that length of time that they said the mercury was taken out? They were still using old back stock.
Yeah, I remember that too.
And then in 2007, mercury was put back into the vaccines, but under a different name. Remember? Mercury that was still inserted into that as a preservative or whatever it is.
Well, Thimerosal, I didn't realize there was another form of mercury other than Thimerosal. You mean there is a stealthier way to put mercury?
Well, I remember hearing someone had taken the insert out of the mercury that their child had got, or out of the insert of the vaccination that their doctor had given their child, and they had said that it was under a different name, that ingredient for the Thimerosal.
Well, the issue of mercury has cooled with respect to autism. I'm not here to say it conclusively plays no role. However, what apparently the Wakefield study did do, and many researchers, and I do know them personally, subsequent to the publishing of this study reveals, is that not necessarily was it mercury ever that led to autism, it was the virus itself. And in the MMR, the measles, was the only one of the vaccines that had two components to it, and those two components still remain as components in that vaccine today, because the M of MMR contains two things. One, live virus, not attenuated. There's a live virus. And number two, it's RNA and not a DNA virus. And that means night and day in the scientific world, because a DNA virus, of which all the others are able to replicate on their own. But an RNA, which is single-stranded, has to have a host. And it is believed that because this is an RNA virus and not a DNA virus, and it's live, these two components were like lighting a wick that ultimately led to, and still does lead to, the possibility that it's involved in provoking autism. And so the Wakefield issue is, by the way, it's going to light up next week. The second article comes out, and they're going to attack Wakefield no longer on the research itself. That was this week. Next week.
No wonder I saw that then.
Yeah, next week is going to be on his business dealings and how it was that he thought he could make a fortune off of his work. There'll be another assailment of that poor man. And like I say, I don't know enough to be dangerous here. When you got the whole medical community attacking him, you got to have to say there's got to be a shred of truth into it. But I'm going to hold off before I make a statement such as that. I'll report to you on these airways what I learned, and I'm on it. Thanks for bringing it to me.
I've listened to the national news within the last few days, and I haven't seen anything mentioned. Like I said, I just saw it on the headlines.
Oh, well, see, you're not up late at night to watch those talk shows.
This is in the morning.
Yeah. You got to watch the Anderson Cooper thing. Anyway,
Okay.
Hey, thanks for the call. All right, there you have it, folks. Yeah, Andrew's being raked over the coals. More to come on the matter. Another knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
So next week we're going to find out that Andrew Wakefield is the devil incarnate.
Yeah.
From the vested interest. It's wonder. Yeah, it also shines some light on the British Medical Journal that has very strict criteria as to what they accept as research, and they're getting a black eye out of this as well, I think.
Well, they're blackening their own eye. Okay.
You're correct. Yes.
They are blackening their own eye to take one of their doctors, and I think, if I could shape this and try to say what could be the forces that be here, a pharmaceutical industry knowing and realizing if Wakefield's work is correct, now just follow me on this one,
I am following you.
it is a death knell. We cannot allow Wakefield and his work to stand up any scrutiny, because our business fails, and not only fails, we're probably going to lose our ability not to be held harmful in any lawsuit, because right now they can be held harmless no matter what havoc they cause. All this is teetering now if Wakefield's work goes forth, and so they had to crush this man. I'm going to take that tack for now.
Well, that's the red flag that I perceive.
Yeah, it is.
Too much money and energy going in to wipe this out. They could just ignore it, and it would go into oblivion. But no, this.
No, you got Jenny McCarthy out there stirring it up. Besides being a Playboy Bunny of the Year, whatever it is, she's got an autistic child, and she won't shut up. They can't shut her up. They can't bump her off either. She's too well known. Anyway, you see where it's leading? You see how cynical we all have to get? By the way, how about my cynicism on the blood test? What do you think?
Well, I wanted to call you about the blood test, and I would like you to elaborate. Just because you find one cell in what if the sensitivity is 1 in 2 billion or something, does it necessarily mean a metastasis? Can't a healthy person still have one of these vagrant mutated cells floating around?
I tell you what, the likelihood, because
normally takes care of.
yeah, but because you've got trillions of cells, 1 in a billion is quite a bit. If you look at it that way.
I see, but the titer is significantly high.
Yeah, that would be high. Billions versus trillions. Oh yeah.
But without a PET scan or something, you can't identify the source of
Which will be my point I'll make on Monday morning. I got another point to make. I'll make it on Monday morning. Stay tuned. Okay, folks, there you have it. We're getting bong good on out of here. Thanks for helping out today. Really enjoyed spending some time with you. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget, Rena's here on Monday on this makeup thing. I don't know what it means. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for an impact on your health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075